Don't start. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome all you High Priestess. Ren'ee here for the second class in Tarot. We're going to be reviewing the first octave and exploring the new octave, the second octave, which holds all the wonderful transformational energies. I think you're going to like this second octave. It is jam-packed with power and transformation and really some of the downside of humankind is in here. And so, but this is, if you're willing to go through this, this is where you can really change your life. I promise I have clothes on. I can't get my camera to show my top. So I'm not sitting here naked. So, okay. All right, some questions that some of the students sent in last time were, and I thought this was a very good question, although it's kind of funny because I thought, oh, I just assumed everybody know. The question is the magician, all right? He receives his inspiration from the universe or God or creator or whatever. And so the question was, does he know who his God is? Or what is God? Or how does he know what is God? Or how does he know where he gets his inspiration? And, you know, that's part of, which I thought was an excellent question. That's part of the journey of the magician, is where does that little voice come from? Or where does that inspiration or that message come from? So, you know, we all have that inner nudging. It may come as an image. It may come as, for me, it's always been a voice. I mean, I have heard this voice since, here's an iPhone coming in. I've heard this voice since really I was a baby. It's been the same voice all my life. It's never changed. I came in here knowing God. I never not knew God. I didn't have to be taught what God was. It was just there. And, you know, and I was raised Southern Baptist, so that was scary for a minute. And finally got out of that box, bless my heart. And so, it's been a journey, y'all. Then another question was, and I think I might have scared some folks last week. And I didn't mean to, but you know, I have been in the metaphysical community since my late 20s, learning. I've been learning since I was 16, and back in the day, you young ones probably don't know this, but me and Sharon do. Back in the day, there was only a cult. And some of the, you know, the veiled stuff, the spiritualists all in a room with the blaring bugle and the ectoplasma mist and right. Some of that stuff, you know, there wasn't the information out that you all get today. You know, you guys, you know, you can go dark if you want, but you can keep it light and fluffy too. But back then it was all the spiritualist stuff, and so I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about now.
You said you scared us last week.
Yeah, I thought I scared you last week. Thank you. Because, you know, I was representing the cards as portals. Oh. And they are portals. They are portals to a consciousness. And so, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. I'm a little scattered today, I have to admit. Anybody else that way?
Kind of,
here we go again. All right. So anyway, I don't want to scare you. How many of you white lighted yourself before you come on here tonight? All right, good. So we're going to do a quick run because I'm sure there's several others that have not. So you don't have to be a big ritual about it. So let's just, I like to hold my palms up because I can feel that energy coming in. So whomever your heavenly source is or your power source is, call on them right now. And I want you to bring that light in through your head, out your feet, down into the earth. Everything in spirit, you're doing threes. Once again, blasting yourself through that white rain, all the way through your system, out the bottom of your feet, and standing in dense white rain now, all the way through your system to the earth. And now you're going to spin it, coming from left shoulder forward, spin it 3 times, and push it out like 50 feet. Heavenly, I can feel this, feel you all from here. I don't know, can you feel me?
Yeah.
Can I do that? All right, this is where you surround your house, your car, whomever.
Pets.
All right, now you're going to pour gold light over that. And purple flames at your feet, burning up. In your power, we are protected. In your light, we are connected. In your grace, we are loved and we are one. So yes, you need to protect yourself. You also need any tool, anything you get for the spiritual world or your spiritual rituals, you need to bless them with white light. And like I said before, a rock is a rock until you have consecrated it into service. And so make sure you have consecrated your cards into the light truth of the highest vibration possible, and that they are protected. Don't leave them laying out. You need to put them in a wood box or wrap them in a silk scarf. Whatever you have, it needs to be something natural. All right. So I thought those were excellent questions, because she was a little concerned. Well, I don't want dark forces flying around me or my house or my family. Well, I understand that. And so, this is why you bless anything that you bring into your home. I don't care if you go to Goodwill. That thing comes home, it needs to be smudged. It's coming into your energy. If you're going to live this lifestyle, then you need to walk and talk. And so just don't leave your cards laying around for whomever to look at them or see them. Do you realize too that when you're watching YouTube videos that you can actually pick up attachments through that? And so this is why you want to white light yourself. And that if any of you are doing videos of any kind, you need to white light that video, that whomever sees that video is blessed with love and light in the purest intention. And so, there's some dark-sided critters out there that would just love to cast spells or darkness. Neo, I'll have to put you out. All right, so, okay, here we go. Here we go for the full. So very quick here, the full is the first consciousness on the board, and he is a consciousness that is awakening. So he represents the holy or the creator consciousness coming to earth to experience itself through humanity and the activities that go on here. He is protected as well as the high priestess and the star. He is fearless because he's just think of a newborn baby. Babies don't know enough to even be afraid. He didn't even know to be divinely protected. He doesn't know he needs to be protected. He's also very fun and playful and curious. And it always represents in your reading a new beginning. So this is probably one of the easiest ones. All right, I'm going to go through this one instead. All right, here we go. So the Fool stands alone. It does not stand with the other 22 cards. So the next card that you learned was the Magician. And for me, he is one of the most powerful cards in the deck. He receives the seed in his crown chakra. I don't know if any of you became aware of this as you studied the tarot this week. You know, a lot of the cards deal with certain chakras in your body. And so the Fool, of course, is the upper chakra. The Magician is the crown, which is right here. And he receives his inspiration from his creator source, his muse, his spiritual guide, or whatever. All right, now he is considered the first male, although magicians can definitely be females, as I am one. But he represents, excuse me, the first masculine. Of course, you know, see his posture is very straight. His hands, one hand up, one hand at the bottom. And so he's very phallic. And so he's going to make his way in the world. He's going to thrust his ideas into the world. And then, of course, his power is symbolized in red. And anything red in the cards is masculine power. The blue, he passes that seed then to the high priestess, where she now is emotion, you know, all that thinking, all that analyzing, all that well, analytical thinking was great, but what about the emotion? What do we want that seed to look like? And so she takes that seed and she gives it a vision. The magician says, well, gee, I need a way to get around in the world. And so he gives it to the high priestess, and she says, okay, well, now we're getting into emotion, because how do you want to feel when you're getting around in the world? Do you want to be on a bicycle? Do you want to be on a scooter? Do you want to be in a car? Do you want to be in an Uber? What do you want to be in? And so she's the one that gives it the type of vision that it's going to be. Hang on, I got text coming. Photo, I found this. Okay, wrong. Okay, just checking on students to see if they're trying to come in. All right, so she puts the emotion to it. She's also the decision maker. So this is why she's in blue. She is the third eye chakra, which now comes about right here. All right, and so she is subconscious. He is creator conscious. She is subconscious. He is ego. She is intuition. And then she passes the seed to the Empress. And the Empress, of course, is the Divine Mother Presence. On most cards, she is pregnant. So she takes that seed and expands it. It doesn't matter what that seed is. She's going to try to grow it. And so you can see the blue is behind her. So she is emotionally, but she's dressed in yellow in my cards. And yellow is creativity. And so she is the creatrix of whatever that idea is. She's going to try to give it birth. She passes it to the Emperor, and notice the Emperor is looking to her. She is the one who expands his kingdom. He's the divine father. He's the divine husband. These two are usually married. He's dressed in blue, but he's also harnessed. There is a partial red. He sits partially on a red rock in mine, because mine's herbal. I think in the Rider-Waite, he sits on a red throne, which is his power. And so he's the one who puts, instead of emotion, he puts logic and order and structure. And he is the protector. He's also the seed of self-esteem and confidence. And then he passes it to the high priest. And the high priest says, okay, what about God? All this earth stuff is just fine. We have to bring God back into the mix. Once again, he's dressed in blue, which takes him back to the high priestess. Now, a high priestess can also be, a high priest can also be a female. When I marry folk, I am an officiant. I am the high priest. So if it has to do with any kind of structure or church or ordination, it usually then belongs to the high priest. The high priest says, now we need God's laws to govern man. The emperor will govern you for sure, but he's saying we need to also look up and we need to pay attention to the spiritual laws. For instance, the law of attraction. What you think about is what you attract. The law of cause and effect. There's a blue billion laws, and we'll get into some of them with the tarot. And then the high priest gives it to the lovers. The lovers, remember, can be love and romance, but it can also be your best friend and it can be your family. And a lot of you really love that sacred conjunctio idea about becoming your own father and mother. A couple of you got a hold of me in the PMs later, and we're just lit up with the idea and the notion. I mean, I know a lot of people don't really think about becoming their own father, mother, becoming their own sovereignty, governing themselves. And so it's this, that, like I said, that the magician is the one who has the power. But for me, the lovers in the sacred conjunctio consciousness is what changed my life. This is where I found my power, was becoming self-governed. I used to allow the outside to govern me. My mother governed me. My first two husbands governed me. When Ren'ee discovered the sacred conjunctio, which actually, like I said, back in the day, the only thing that was available was the occult and witchcraft and things like that. The sacred conjunctio goes all the way back into those mythological magics that a witch or wizard does not receive their power until they are mated with themselves. And either one, the witch or wizard, would have a dream where they would have sexual relations with this dream lover. But this dream lover was the other gender of themselves. And so I remember way back in the 80s, I had a dream of my dream beloved. And I, yes, we had sex, don't go there, but he just absorbed me and I became one with him. And I was in a thrall for like 2 weeks and I didn't understand what happened to me until I used to date, online. I dated a wizard for about 3 days and he was the one that told me about this. It is a sacred ancient rite of passage. And seriously, it lit me up. I was never the same after that. If you ever have dreams where you can't see the person's face, it is an aspect of you. Mm. So know that. If you've ever had the pleasure of making love to someone in a dream and you can't see their face, it's actually your beloved, your divine beloved of yourself. You're making love to yourself. You're becoming one within yourself. Also, the lovers rule choice, and it's usually a moral choice because, it comes from the high priest. So he rules morals. And so it's usually like, you're dating this wonderful guy, your old boyfriend tries to come back. Whom do you choose now? Or you're married and somebody makes a play for you that's better than your husband. So a lot of times it may involve the entrance of a third party and you having to make a choice. Or it can simply be, choosing not to have a lover or a partner in your life anymore. And so it can also be that aspect. And then, of course, the lovers get in that chariot. You get to ride in the chariot when you have partnered your conscious with your subconscious, your logic with your intuition. you've taken the high road every time. You've listened to that little voice. You've taken the high road, and of course, the Chariot is the victory card. It can also mean your vehicle. And there's certain cards around that vehicle, the King of Swords, the Page of Swords, Knight of Swords. When we get into all that, that can mean a ticket. And so I've had to tell clients that, and I've had them get tickets on the way home, and they texted me back, you wouldn't believe, you told me watch out for cops and I got a ticket. And I was like, what can I say? I told you. You know, that people don't believe me when I tell them this stuff, but you know, it's there for a reason. All right, so that's the first octave. Now what an octave is a space holding situation. And the first 7 cards are the archetypes of man. It's the first male, the first female, the consciousness, the subconsciousness, the married female, the creative female who gives birth, and then the married male who controls his kingdom, and then of course the consciousness of God. And that high priest also rules, are you going to be going to church? Do you want to find a church home? Do you want to find a spiritual family? He likes to gather. Once again, you know, he comes from that Empress. So she gives and she gathers. And then, of course, the Lovers is there with all that beautiful power. And then the power is exalted through the victory of the Chariot. Now, go back, look at the top of the Chariot's hat. You know, it's a red feather. So his power is at his crown. I'm connected to the higher will. And then, of course, the front of the car is creative. And so, you know, I create my way. And my card, it has the yin yang. And so now he is basically his own male and his own female. And so he is at one with himself. He's in control. He's in balance. His emotions and his analytical side are working together. So, you know, this God gave me the words, get control, get a grip, and get going. Otherwise, you just spin your wheels. All right, the next, any questions over those first 7? All right, so let's answer this. Let's see. Hey, Nicole, honey. All right, so I have a piece of paper and write down the answers to these questions. The Fool symbolizes the creator consciousness, yes or no? Hey, puppy. Oh, you got a puppy up there, Maggie. The Chariot can symbolize a vehicle, yes or no? Yes, everybody's here. The High Priest can symbolize the 10 Commandments. Yes or no? Shh. The Emperor can symbolize weakness in the structure. The Lovers represents romantic love relationships only. The Empress can be a male, yes or no? When you get that High Priestess on the board, it means you should travel and socialize and be active, yes or no? The Magician's 3 main characteristics are, and hint, they start with C's, so see if you can remember a few of them.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, the Magician's 3 main characteristics are, and they all start with C's. And there's probably like 7 of them. So any one of those 7. My next question. When you get the Fool in the spread, you need to be free of what? When you get the full in the spread, you need to be free of what? When you are challenged with the loss of a job and respond with resumes and interviews, you are calling on the victory of the being disciplined, using priorities, creating goals, and being practical means you are using the power of the when the magician accepts intuition and emotion into his consciousness, he is accepting the power of the to accept the power of the high priest into the emperor's consciousness. He has to accept what into his consciousness? I'll read that again. To accept the power of the high priest into the emperor's consciousness, he has to accept what into his mind? Being nurturing, comforting, watching nutrition, and loving self and others evokes the power of the being nurturing, comforting, watching nutrition, and loving self and others evokes the power of the. All right. List at least 2 or 3 aspects of the Lover's card. Meow. Okay. All right, let's go back and answer these. The Fool symbolizes the creator consciousness. Yes.
Yes.
The Chariot can symbolize a vehicle. Yes. The High Priest can symbolize the 10 Commandments. Yes. He rules any religious structure. The Emperor can symbolize weakness in the structure. Yes, because he takes care of his kingdom. He's always looking to see where the kingdom can fail or has a breakdown or is weak. The Lovers represents romantic relationships only.
No.
No. The Empress can be a male. Yes. The High Priestess means you should travel, socialize, and be active. No. The Magician's 3 main characteristics are, give me 1.
Create,
Create. Number 2,
Consciousness.
connect,
consciousness. And number 3,
connect,
connect, but mainly concentration. He really harnesses that power. So consciousness, create, and concentration. Those are his 3 main focuses. When they get the Fool in the spread, you need to be free of
Fear.
fear. The High Priestess usually uncovers something. Oh, this is one I didn't give you. The High Priestess usually uncovers something that is what?
hidden.
Hidden. So whenever you get the High Priestess in your reading, you always look to the next card to see what she's going to reveal to you. When you are challenged with a job loss and respond with resumes and interviews, you are calling on the victory of the Chariot.
Ah.
Remember, the chariot rules daytime fears. Job loss, water heater goes out, the furnace goes out, your car breaks down. You know, things, daily life, it just kind of gets in the way, you know, complications. Being disciplined, using priorities, creating goals, and being practical means you are using the power of the emperor. Also the magician, but the emperor really helps that magician to own it. When the magician accepts intuition and emotion into his consciousness, he's accepting the power of the
Universe.
high priestess in the universe. To accept the power of the high priest into the emperor's consciousness, he has to accept
Empress.
spiritual laws.
Mm.
Being nurturing, comforting, watching nutrition, and loving self evokes the power of the
Empress.
empress. Yes. Okay, give me one of 2 or 3 things of the lovers.
Partnership.
What?
Partnership.
Partnership?
Make a choice.
What?
Making a choice.
Making a choice. And what's the big one I go on and on about?
Oops.
The integration of the male
Gender.
and female. Yes, absolutely. Okay, make sure you understand that one, because that is a power card. And basically it's the cure to codependence. All righty.
What did you say again? It was the integration of male and female?
You become your own father, you become your own mother.
Oh,
In other words, okay, let's talk about this a little bit, because man, that card is packed. You know, all of us are female. We may, you know, our partners. We want a man or a woman to complete us. We want, you know, we think I was raised, I was nothing without a man. All right. And so we were raised sort of that Cinderella story, that once we met that man, that our lives would be complete, we'd be financially solvent, we would have somebody to do honeydews in the house, we would have somebody to protect us, you know, all these things that we thought our husband would do for us. For the female, that lover symbolizes her inner beloved. You want something. Now we're going to bounce it back to the magician and the law of attraction. If you want something, you first must become that something to have the vibration to attract something. So you think a man's going to bring you more income. Let's hope so. But first, you must make yourself feel the energy essence of prosperity. You must send out the vibe of I'm stable, solid, and prosperous to attract then a male who is also stable, solid, and prosperous. You want someone to love you. Do you love yourself? Do you think you are lovable? Do you think that, do you look like love? Or, you know, you go around in sweats all the time, all right, baggy shirts, and, you know, you don't try to gussy up or goddess up at all. You know, you got to remember that male, his sex gland is right next to the optic nerve. He wants what he sees. If you want to attract a male, then you need to look like a siren. men are like crows. They're attracted to the tin foil.
Something shiny.
You know, I had, believe it or not, I used to teach sacred sex, Victory of Light, Manuel.
Yes, yeah.
One of my power moments in my life. But I had, and I was kind of embarrassed, but man, it was awesome. This woman come in and she stood up in my class. She goes, okay, you give me the answers to this. I think I'm awesome, but I can't attract a man. She had short hair, wore glasses, turtleneck up to here. She had a sweater vest that covered her front. She had on white pants, white socks, and gym shoes. And sometimes when I'm doing these events, I'm channeled really fast. And, you know, and I've told you all before, I could be a little blue. And I looked at her and I said, that's because you look like a condom. And she goes, I think, Nicole, that's the one you saw. She goes, holy shit, I do. I look like a condom. I look like a penis. And she was like, oh my God. All right. So it was like, oh, I can't believe I said that. You know, but the next meeting I gave, she came back. She came back with a man on her arm. I didn't even recognize her. She grew her hair out, and you know, if you wear a goddess up, you wear a dangle earring, you show a little bit of cleavage because my heart is open. My heart is ready to receive. All right, you wear dangles. At least if you can have short hair, at least put a flower or something in it. You wear skirts. You wear short skirts and boots. Men like that. Fishnet stockings, they can't hold themselves back. All right, so you goddess up a little bit. You have to be the siren when you go out in the world. You know, not that you have to look like a slut, not by any means. You just need to show that, oh, here comes Aaron, that you look available. You know, whereas before she was very shielded. And so she had come back and completely transformed herself, and of course had found the love of her life. And so, you know, that was a very special moment, a very healed moment, but this is the Lover's card. You must look like love if you want to attract love. And so that is also part of the Lover's card. All right, going on to the next octave. The next octave gets even deeper, and the next card is the Strength card. All right, now the one on the left is Rider-Waite, the one on the right is the Herbal Deck. If you look at that Strength card, I love the one with the lion in it. I wish the Herbal Deck had that. She is the Chariot, but she is the compassionate chariot. The Chariot, you know, he's got a whip. He's like, oh my God, I lost my job. What am I going to do? He runs around. He's getting it all together. He's very fast. If that Strength card, it doesn't move. You see, she's calm, she's serene. The Herbal Deck, she's wearing blue, but she's got the magician's cape on. Notice that? So she is surrounded by her power, and she has a red hat on. And so the Strength card is now from the Chariot. You had victory over the rational mind, the subconscious mind, the feminine giving with the masculine taking. You've put the strength and the power and spiritual laws of God with that, and you've made choices for that. You've ridden in the Chariot for that. So now you stand on your own again. This is the third most powerful card. This card rules strength, but it rules strength in the spiritual core, which I now realize I didn't email to you all. The spiritual core is integrity, honesty, truth, respect, loving kindness, compassion, humility, and generosity. It is, I'll send it to you in the email.
Okay.
Okay. Those of you who have come for a reading probably received it. Now, this spiritual core is what makes her sovereign. And what this card represents, it's the 8, as above, so below, heaven on earth. This core is untouchable. No matter what is going on in the world or outside of you, you do not compromise that core. Your rational mind is tempered with intuition. Your get her done is tempered with softness and compassion. So that's why instead of beating that cat, that lion, she's saying, here, kitty, kitty. Come sit by me, kitty, kitty. I'll tame you this way, kitty, kitty. This is self-worth. Self-worth. Look at this statement. You will be successful to the degree that you believe in yourself. It cannot be taken away, but we have to claim it. A baby has self-worth. We are born into self-worth. It's when we allow the outside world to chip away at it. You have to discover your worth. Self-esteem and self-worth are two separate things. Self-worth is you. You know, you believe in, you have your belief system. Like, I don't lie. You can't make me lie. Maybe if they're going to hold a gun to my daughter's head, yeah, maybe I'd probably lie. But, you know, just to up and lie? No way. I'm not a liar. I even tell you the truth to your face, no matter how, even though I know it hurts you, I'll be kind about it, but I do not lie. That's one thing that, you know, cannot be taken away from me. And so that shows self-control. You're going to control yourself to the point that you're not going to lie. You're going to be a person of honesty. When you say something, you mean it. You walk your talk, say what you mean what you say. You promise somebody something, you're going to fulfill that promise. I no longer promise. I no longer promise because I know, and I haven't done that in 40 years. I've never even used the words I promise. I quit doing that because I'm ADD and I have issues with timing and I lose track of my life. So I don't promise. What I do is I give more. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And it's usually more than what you thought. So your self-control takes you back to that self-autonomy. Back in the day, I probably didn't understand what autonomy meant until I was in my 30s. It's like your authentic self, your own world. Sovereignty, you govern yourself, self-governing, guiding yourself. You choose habits, morals, tendencies, and behaviors according to your self-worth. Self-value is the self-estimation of about how you think you are doing when you do these behaviors. Self-esteem is confidence in what you do. So in other words, the strength card does not come from ego. She comes from confidence, and there's a big difference. Self-empowerment. This is a big one. Holding your boundaries. Truth and courage. This is the card of courage. Spiritual core, and here it is on the bottom of this Sharon.
Oh,
Okay. And God gave me this today, alignment. You know, of course,
Oh,
we
that's
just
good.
came out of the 8-8 gateway, the alignment with the lion, the golden lion, the spiritual lion. And this alignment with higher will and truth, integrity, honesty, honor, respect, loving kindness, compassion, boundaries, humility, and generosity. It should be on there too. So when you get the strength card in your reading and on your papers, talk about this. Now this card can also be body. So it's telling you you need to work out. Now you'll get certain cards with that, like the 9 of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. She starts a nutrition and a weight loss program. She may start walking, join the gym, that type of thing. It's also your willpower. Knowing your truth, knowing who you are, how you are, why you are. This is really self-knowing here, self-discovery. The Chariot used force and aggression to keep himself in alignment. The Strength card uses her feminine energy and self-love and compassion for others to keep herself in alignment with the highest good. Now, when you get this card, it means that you might be challenged with an external or outside situation that will cause you to have to perhaps stand up for yourself or defend yourself or explain yourself. Unless it's going to save your job or save your marriage, you don't need any explaining. Spirit told me a few years ago when someone accused me of something that I knew was false, and it was someone I didn't really care about. But there I went off in my diatribe defending myself, and then Spirit got a hold of me. You no longer need to defend or explain yourself, because the cockroach consciousness won't get it. I want you to hear that. There are some consciousness, doesn't matter what you say, what you do, they will not understand why or how or the truth of what you do. All right, the meditative questions that come along with this is where are you weak in your world? You know, is there boundaries? Boundaries used to be a big one with me. I give a person 2 chances now. Susie goes gossips to Debbie. Renee, I used to get a lot of that at the mountaintop. All right. Comes back to me and I'm like, Susie, why would you do that? Well, if you have a problem with me, why don't you just bring it to me? I really love you and I enjoy our friendship. You know, I really want, you know, for us to be friends. And well, next, you know, Sharon comes over and she goes, well, Susie told me this. And I'm like, Susie, I thought we talked about this. You know, I really love you. And I've enjoyed our friendship. And I'm going to miss you. But I can no longer participate in your gossip and backstabbing ways. I only allow 2. And, you know, and I've had to let go of people that I really cared about. You know, I cry it out and I just, you know, I don't participate in the drama anymore. And God help me, it took most of my life to get that figured out. And so any kind of external situation that's going on in your life that is causing you to defend yourself or explain yourself to a mentality that will never get it, don't even bother. Just raise the sword. And you say, well, what if it's your mother? What if it's in your family? Then you detach and you keep everything superficial. Where do you need to hold your ground yet be loving? Well, I think any parent knows that one. Also, this is a card of forgiveness. You have to be the strong one. You have to do the extra mile. You have to go the higher step. And so, you know, this card is another power card. It's the third power card of a person's transformation. So, you know, I love the strength card as well. All right, because you're able to now stand on your own, now you get to go to the Hermit. And the Hermit is very similar to that High Priestess, is that he is on his own. He chooses. Now, you see that, and this is the High Priestess can actually choose to be a hermit. And she does that when she just needs to, and I call it going to sanctuary. This is what this is called, going to sanctuary. You turn off your phone, you turn off the internet, and it's just you in meditation, you in yoga, you're reading your tarot cards, you got lovely Zen music playing, candles going on. You're in the process of receiving. What do I do next? And so I know all of us are spiritual warriors. We are, through that Chariot and Strength card. But the spiritual warrior also has the wisdom to put the sword down and, you know, just go to the woods for a weekend or go to Florida for a weekend, just by yourself, to sit at the beach and to commune. So the hermit chooses solitude. It is a choice. He withdraws from public life. He's a spiritual teacher. He's usually a wizard or a magician or a high priestess who is a way shower. And anytime that you gather wisdom and share it with someone, you are the hermit. Spiritual study. They are focused on learning their craft. And so I remember when I used to give myself weekends, and I would take a whole weekend, like when Jamie, you know, had to go to her dad's for visitation. And there would be no TV, you know, I would just study my cards, or I'm also an herbalist. I'd study the herbs, I'd study astrology, I'd study Reiki, whatever. It would be a weekend just for me and my books and meditation and receiving from my guides and my God about what my next path would be, or what the next phase for me, or the new gateway. And when I talk about gateways in your reading, that is usually a new life that's getting ready to come. And you notice a lot of the cards have columns behind them. They sit before the gate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Magi has, I think, trees. The High Priestess has the column. The High Priest has column. The Chariot also has column. It is represented by the wheels of the chariot. And as we go on here, there'll be other cards that have columns. So I do consider the Hermit the phase before the gateway, because you separate yourself so you can have a better understanding of what you want. It is also a card of self-renewal. You know, remember, he does share his wisdom, and sometimes he just needs to, I don't need to talk to anybody for a couple of days. Sanctuary, they are alone until they are ready to go inward. And I call this the sanctuary, going to temple. Sharing. The hermit always shares his wisdom. That's why he holds the lantern. See, the lantern is yellow. It's the lantern of creativity, and he holds a yellow stick. So he gets his creativity through support. He has no fear of being alone. And of course, the herbal deck, he holds a round ball. Now, round is intuition. So he holds the ball of light, which if you look back at your High Priestess, that ball appears on her crown. And so he is looking to the High Priestess for her intuition. The Hermit, no one seeking love likes to get this card, because it pretty much means 9 months of being on your own, discovering yourself. I've noticed this in many of my reading, that when a woman, particularly female, is getting ready to awaken, the universe will remove all partners away from her. You belong to the holy in this card. The holy wants to talk to you and they want to spend time with you. You're in meditation, prayer, and communing. And so when you get this card, it's kind of, you need to know that the universe sees you and wants to spend time with you, and you're getting ready to birth a new way for yourself. And a lot of times it takes 9 days, 9 weeks, 9 months for this awakening to happen, to make her solid. And when that happens, when you're getting ready for an awakening, what that means is that you go from the full to the world. You go through all the portals of the tarot, and you are awakened and solid and together on the other side. This card, the strength card, and this card is also a cure of abandonment, afraid of being on your own. I had that issue. And so I chose really decrepit people to hang with at the time, just so I wouldn't be alone. Made some big mistakes when I was young. So from the Lovers to the Strength card and the Hermit and the Hangman, I learned to be on my own. All right, now I'm making sure everybody is in here. Anybody need to take a break?
No, but can you pull up that slide again? I was writing one more thing down.
Who's talking?
Amber,
Okay, Amber, what?
the slide you just had up that had the I was writing down that last part. Sharing, teaching, wisdom. What was after that?
I can't understand what you're saying.
So you just had
I'm sorry, Amber. Honey, I am a lip reader. And I can't understand. Can you type it? Can you go to where it says chat and type it for me? Are you talking about the list of the strengths, the spiritual core?
No, that thing you just had up. The
Okay.
picture of the Word document you just had up.
I'll go back. Now, what?
Yeah, that. I just needed that last one. I needed to see
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay. Well, it should be on your papers, you know?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Got it? You're welcome. All right. Yeah, I apologize. That's another reason why I love Zoom, because I can see your face and I can see what you're saying. All right. So after the Hermit, then all right. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is, it turns. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You don't want to stop it because you would become stagnant. The Wheel of Fortune is external change. See, life happens. Change is constant, that we can be sure of death and taxes and change. We are not given any promise of anything. And so this is why, you know, that the strength card had to come before this, because you have to make yourself solid so that when change happens, you're still solid and you become a witness to the external trauma. And the Magician rides, see this tree here, this in the middle part of the wheel, he rides that hub. If you're in the center of the wheel, when that wheel turns, you go up. And so it's kind of like being the eye of a tornado or a hurricane. In the eye, it's calm and peaceful. The drama is on the outside in the wind. And so from the Magician, he learns to ride the hub of alignment with spirit and earth. And then with the strength alignment with the higher truth and higher will, she's solid in her core. Ain't nobody going to disrespect the goddess ever again. And when that external wheel turns, you stay in your eye, your spiritual eye, and you witness. So this is when you observe, do not absorb, which is so hard for the empath to do. Change is an abrupt change, abrupt adjustment to a life event, death, a divorce, new job, lost your job. Cycles, numerology, astrology, Saturn's house. I could shoot that planet right out of the sky.
Yeah.
Saturn, and I'll explain that. This comes from the high priestess. She, I'm not an astrologer, but I know enough to keep myself smart. There's one planet you look in your astrology wheel, and you can go to Cafe Astrology, and it's free, and get a free chart. You want to see where Saturn is in your chart, what house Saturn is in. Right now, it is in, I think it went back to Capricorn. Now it'll retrograde back or go direct into Aquarius here pretty soon. So anybody out there that's an Aquarian, you need to find out what house it is in, because that's the house that's going to be kicking up dust. For me, it is in my first house. The first house rules your physical body. And I have fibromyalgia. And so I've had it since I was 17. And so right there, I come in born with a physical affliction. Saturn does change every 2.5 years. The last 3 years, it was in my marriage house. And we all know what happened there. I even told Amlan, I go, oh crikey, Saturn just went into our marriage house. And I jokingly said, I hope we survive.
Oh my Lord.
Well, I'm the hermit again. So that planet, this is what you have to kind of watch for, is those external situations that are going to come into your life and cause problems. Also, 7 years in astrology are a big, big deal. 7-year birthdays hold life-altering changes. There's a 4-year cycle in those 7-year birthdays, 2 years before and 2 years after. So let's say your first Saturn return, that's another one. Okay, let's say for 30s, for 33 to 38, you're going to be in life-altering change. 35 being your 7-year birthday. 42, 7-year birthday. From 40 to 44. 47 to 51. So what happens in these life-altering cycles? You die, yes, that's on the table. You get married, you get divorced, you have babies, you move, you change jobs. So they're life-altering events that are going to change the next 7 years of your life. And so these are the kind of cycles that you want to pay attention to. Now, I talk about Saturn return. Saturn return is when you're born, your astrology wheel is lined up in a certain way, and certain planets are in certain houses. But you're under the influence of family, school, community. Everybody colors in your identity. At 28, that is called your second Saturn return, from 26 to the end of 30. Now, the magician is born. The great I am is born. I am this. I am not that. And so this is where, and that's why I beg young people, don't get married before you cross your second Saturn return, because you change so much in those 7 years between 21 and 28. And I personally wasn't the same woman. from that time, but I made the mistake of getting married at 22. And he went one way and I went the other. We didn't change the same. Only 1 in 10,000 couples get to change the same. Your third Saturn return from 54 to 58. That's when you wake up and go, oh my God, what happened to me? I've been somebody's dutiful daughter, somebody's dutiful wife, somebody's dutiful mother. What happened to me? So you've sacrificed yourself all these years. And so there is a new repurposing and a new identity getting ready to be born then. And then your fourth Saturn return is usually it's 83 from 81 to 85. And then that is a lot of times when we transition. So I got to get this. So, okay, your challenges. Look to the cards after to see what you're facing. So when you get that wheel on the table, I don't want you to be afraid of it. I want you to say, okay, great, a new gate is coming. Wonder what's coming. And so you look to the next major arcana and some other cards to see what's going to roll in. And so you got to learn to balance. You know, you got to be the magician and stay in the hub. You got to be in the chariot and ride those cycles. So, you know, you need to either roll with it or you get rolled over, basically, is what happens. Now, this also brings in karma. Now, this is something absolutely you can't do anything about. Past life, negative, affecting choices, but somewhere you may have chosen this or created this in your thinking or haphazard thinking or doing stupid mistakes. For the most part, it is a positive turn. Learn to find the blessings. I had somebody post on Facebook, I feel like such a failure. There is no failing. There is a lesson. So what did you learn out of the experience? There's always some blessing there. You're saying, oh, okay. Was there a blessing when Amlan died? Yeah. For me, I'm the strength card, exalted. It rattled me, but I'm still standing. Yes, there's a blessing and a lesson in that. All right, bless his heart. All right, so when that wheel turns, then it's time for justice.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
There's a lot of characters on here. One of the ones that I didn't understand is that red thing. Is that a fox or something?
What card, honey?
It's on the Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of
I mean,
Fortune.
I get all the ones around the corners, but I don't get the ones that are surrounding the wheel itself. Maybe it's not important. I don't know.
Oh, well, we're going to get to the symbology
Okay.
probably that 5th week.
Okay, hon.
So I know it's 7:41. I'm going to try to keep us on target. Hi, Erin, honey. I see you snuck in.
Hey, sorry, my connection was bad earlier.
That's all right. I got it. All right. Where's the justice card go? I have it. All
I
right.
have a question.
Yeah.
Is it with the major arcanas, do you always look to the following card to
Yes.
see what it's about?
No, well, no,
Previous.
the high priestess, you want to see what she's going to reveal.
Okay.
The wheel, you want to see, hopefully what you're going to get.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the follow-up on all of these. The tower, you want to see what's falling, that type of thing. Only certain ones, Nicole.
Okay.
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 Right, justice. Justice. Once again, he's wearing the red mantle. And who wore that red mantle? The magician. Okay, also the strength card board. And so the just is in a position of power. He's holding that round ball. So justice is very similar to the chariot. It's the rational mind, the fair witnessing mind, coupled with the intuitive, compassionate mind. So the mind and heart are working together. And right here, you see he's in a gate. You see the trees that are with him, and then the Rider-Waite, he's sitting in the same columns that the high priestess is and the high priestess. And so you're getting ready to go through a gate. Now, the justice card confused me for a long time. I just couldn't figure it out. Number one, it can mean court. You're going to court, you're going to get a ticket. I got it, when was it, last year? I got the justice card and I was like, crap, what is this? And sure enough, I got a summons to court to serve on the jewelry, which I told them I wasn't in my right mind last year and they let me off. So, so it can mean some sort of court appearance or some sort of judgment. But the main thing it is the weighing out of an issue, the pros and cons. And so this is where you make a list, and it's the process of discovering the facts, stop it, feelings and potential, which is better. So it is the process, not the decision, the process of weighing things out. The way of karma, the wheel has turned. You know, how did you do? Did you falter? Did you have a lesson you had to learn? Did you go against your core? Are you now reaping the consequences of that? Legal or liable, court system implied, subpoena, serve the court. Now, you get that when you get some other cards like the King of Swords, Judgment, that type of thing. Those are when it's a court thing. We'll get into all of that. This card is a truth card. The truth holds up the temple. So it comes from the strength card. Remember I said last week, for me, love isn't the most important thing here. Truth is. You may love someone, but if they lie to you, you've lost your foundation. You're basing decisions on a false truth, a false fact. So for me, truth is the most important thing. Truth holds love. No matter how much you love someone, if they lie to you, it just makes it very chaotic and complicated and horrific, really. I'd rather you do anything to me, seriously. I'd rather you yell at me, cuss me, whatever. Just don't lie to me. Justice card is, it's once again, look at the number on this card. It's the 11. Who rules the 11? Now, the 11 is a gateway. The 11 is a 2. Who rules the 2? The high priestess. So it's choices. The choice, a gateway decision will be life altering. So this is why he holds that ball, because he has to go back to that high priestess with her intuition. You have to couple that logical mind with meditation and spirit. He has to listen to spirit. Now, in the Rider-Waite card, of course, he holds the sword of truth and the scales. He's got one little foot sticking out, and that's white. Whenever you see the color white in your card, it's God. He is surrounded by yellow. But interesting enough, that sword is what color? Blue.
Blue.
Who owns the blue? the High Priestess. So there is your intuition. But to me, it's thinking. So I don't understand that card very well. Whenever you get ready to go through a gateway, you have to sacrifice something, or you may have to give something up. Sometimes you don't want to give it up, and so we struggle, we resist what is, and we suffer. But whenever that gateway appears, it's for our highest good. This is how we evolve. This is how we grow. It could be something as simple as me going from a Southern Baptist to believing in reincarnation. You know, me going from the grooming of the white supremacist to, oh my God, this is wrong. And I am now a free consciousness. I'm a free spirit. I choose what I want. Being groomed by a narcissist and discovering your truth so that you will never be affected, influenced, or controlled by another person ever again. Those are also gateway experiences. But, you know, I had to give up the religion. I had to give up my family, which I did. I haven't seen my family since 1984. I gave up all sorts of things. I love going through the gateways. Because for me, it means something better is coming. It may hurt, but I'm still standing. This is a card of discernment, discrimination, decision, diplomacy, distinction, deduction. Who rules justice? The High Priestess. And this is where she has to become a fair witness. She stands before the white and dark column. She always has to choose up. So this is the Justice card. It is the process of making a decision. Now, in a lot of cards, Justice in the old Aleister Crowley and some of the old spiritual cards, Justice came first and then strength. They said you have to know the truth before you can stand in strength. I disagree with that. I think you need to have yourself strong in order to face a truth, because a lot of times truths are not pretty. They're not what you want to see or hear. And so you have to have strength in order to face that sword of truth and know that you're solid and you're not going to be affected, and you will keep choosing up. Now, see, these cards are getting a little deep. All right.
That's right.
All right. Wait till you get to the next one. The Hangman. Everybody in? I don't see anybody. Okay. All right. The Hangman. Man, the Hangman's rough. I'm not going to lie to you. The Hangman is you're put in spiritual time out. Go to your corner. God says no. And I do mean it's not, oh, don't do that. I mean it's no. It's a big no from the Holy. Whatever you're doing is not, they don't like it. It's going to bring you devastation. This is your first warning card of stop it. And so a lot of times, and this especially, you do not want to give it up. So you're at a standstill, you're in suspension. Now look at this line, whom do you serve? Never ask anyone, what do you believe in? Oh, the dark side believes in God. You ask, whom do you serve? Surrender, this is the death of the ego. Your will must be sacrificed. You know, I've been very angry at times in my life. And I have to choose. was given something and that it was taken away. Comes one more. Was I angry last year? You betcha. But this is where you just go fetal. You go spread eagle and you go, okay, have your way with me. Did it cause me to become bitter or angry or become a different person? No, because my core is solid. But yeah, I was a little pissy with God for a minute. It's a sacrifice. It's a letting go, and it's going to hurt because you don't want to let it go. It could be letting go that bad boy, letting go that abusive marriage, letting go that narcissist, letting go that toxic job. This is, I let go my mother. I was born to a narcissist sociopath. At 44, I took her out of my life. One of the best decisions I ever made, but it meant this is where I became my own parent. I became solid in that sacred integration. Spiritual reversal, they don't like the path you're going on. It's God's no, I don't want you going down that road. Stillness and isolation. Only you can go through this death. No one can help you. No one can take away the pain. You have to go through it. It is truly the crucifixion. And this card symbolized the crucifixion of Christ, where he felt, why have you forsaken me? Sanctuary, this is a sanctuary where, you usually pull away from people. You don't feel like talking much. You're trying to find your own balance. You're trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do. Most of the time you're going, OMG, 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 oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Introspection, understand it is for your highest good. Incubation, it is a form of birthing. Once you go through this octave, you are a different person. I mean, you've been flung around a wheel, you have been judged, you have been hung, you have been killed, you have been set on fire, and when you are done with this is the phoenix rising. You begin to burn here. It's the initiation into ascension. What used to be important to you is no longer. The phoenix begins to burn. You lose interest in what used to be, and that's just not depression. It's not important to you anymore. Intervention. This is spiritual intervention. It's for your own good, and you have to look at it as a rescue. So once again, in this particular card, when you resist, you suffer. And so this card is a lot of all the major arcanas are immediate and now. Justice is a weighing, so that has time involved. The hangman, you get off the rope when you get it. The longer you resist the change, you suffer. So the main point of this is ego. So once again, I'm probably scaring you. Oh my God, I hope I never see the hangman. Okay, it's surrendering. It's surrendering your need to be right, your need to be heard, your need to be have the last word, your need to have it your way or no way. It is. I know a lot of people like that, and this is you just argue to your blue in the face. Instead of just sitting back and saying, my God, it's not worth it. Is it going to change? I mean, basically, we were in the hangman all last year in politics. Think about it. Did all that yelling back and forth change anybody? Fix anybody?
Mm-mm.
No, it didn't. And so we were all being hung last year. Now we know, okay, was it worth it? You know, we're definitely, well, I just better shut up. That's what I better do. All right. All right. So, you know, the hangman is the sacrificing of your ego. For instance, all right, an example of this. I know some spiritual teachers who think they are the best. They may be. I don't care. But as soon as I hear a spiritual teacher, Reiki, spiritual teacher, anybody, tell anybody I'm the best, then I have a problem.
Mhm.
I lose credibility for them. I would rather be in the strength card. I have confidence in what I do. Do I say I'm the best? No, I don't. I know I'm not. But I have confidence in what I do, and I attempt to make myself the best I can be. But you will not hear me coming out of ego. I let that go a long time ago. I'll never be the best. And that's all right. All right, so now we have from the hangman, all right, you've been strung up on that tree.
God.
So the only thing left is, you know, man, just shoot me. Okay, get it over with.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we have the death card. The death card is the lovely 13. And of course, you know, the horse and the herbal deck, they're dressed in white. And of course, it's spirit. And a lot of times, the death is, I'm sorry, they're getting hungry. And my big old fat retriever, he gets grumpy when I'm not feeding him. So when you get the death card, it means exactly that. It's a done deal. It's not coming back, no return. So is that boyfriend coming back? I always hope to get that death card. He's not coming back. Are you going to be recalled to that job? You get the death card? It's not coming back. This is, you here, take me. I don't care what you do to me anymore. I'm done. This is the surrender of the ego, where the hangman no longer resists what is and surrenders his will. Do your worst. The death card does represent change, and it's 3 days to 6 months the change will come in. Culmination, it's a wrap, it's over, time to move on, you get the divorce. Now, it doesn't have to be bad. You can graduate from college. It's the death of the immature person. Both parents have died. You're now an orphan. All right. It's also purifying, sanctifying the spirit, letting go that will, letting go that ego, becoming aligned with your holy source. Completion, all the kids moved out, everybody's married, you're on your own. What do? The end of an era. The empty nest, parents dies, you graduated. It's also transition. Yes, we physically die. However, it takes about 9 cards to mean a physical death. So we'll get into that when we get into the major arcanas. Did I know my husband was going to die? Yes, 2 weeks prior. We even discussed it.
Wow.
There are some things you cannot stop. Absolutely, it showed up in my reading. Then it showed me it would be suicide. And we talked about it. He goes, you know, I can't stand being without you. I would never do that. But and that's what God told me. Some things you can't save. And so that is a death card in itself. Is me, I mean, for months, I was like, why? And then I just quit. It doesn't matter why anymore. It's done. And so this second octave, is mighty mean. It can be. But then on the other side of it is the wonderful card of Temperance. And Temperance is when the phoenix rises. I love Temperance. I don't like burning through it. And once again, this is a victory card. It's a victory over the ego. In the Rider-Waite, you see, you now have wings. You have ascended. You have blended mind with intuition, order with compassion, the feminine essence with the masculine essence. You were presented a hard truth. It may have taken you a bit, but you accepted it. And so reality versus what you want. You have been through it and you've let it all go. So Temperance is the birthing of the phoenix. This is the fourth extreme empowerment card in the deck, because I promise you, on the other side of this, you are a different person. You're self-actualized. You are your own authority in alignment to higher will and higher truth. You don't allow other people to influence you or tell you what to do anymore. You now have fair witness and fair judgment. You know the process of weighing good and bad for yourself. So Temperance is a spiritual test. Oh, yes, it is. This is when the earth angel gets her wings. You may be missing a few feathers, but you get your wings. You've chosen the high road every time. Tempering, you made Neo, stop it. What can I give you? I don't have any books. We're almost done, Neo. Tempering, you make the choices that serve your highest good. This card is also a card of time. It may take you some time to really get it. And this was a card that I didn't quite get for the longest time. So never say that. Never say that. The universe will teach you the card. Never say you do not understand that card, because the universe will teach you the card through experiences. I know this card inside and out. Yes, last year I was in Temperance. Truth, you understand a great consciousness shift of awareness. I call this card your biggest wound and your greatest healing. There's really not much left they can do to you after this. Trial, all right, here it is. What darkness is within you? You may lie and you think they don't know you're lying, but your subconscious knows you're lying. And that high priest will seek to make you aware of that. And the devil, which is coming next week, will attempt to punish you for that. So what darkness do you have within you? Do you need to be the best? Do you judge people? Do you criticize people? Do you backstab and gossip about your friend? Where is your darkness that has to be purified? I'm like, damn, Ren'ee, can we stop now? It is a victory card, however, and it is the strength card exalted. That core stayed solid. She stayed in her integrity, truth, honesty, respect, loving kindness, compassion, generosity, and she held her boundaries by God. So this card, this octave is a very heavy octave. And there's a lot of truth and transformation in this particular octave. Now, when we get to the last week, this is why I want you to do some self-exploring this week. You don't have to tell me or anybody else about it, but you know your darkness. My darkness is cookies and they need to be perfect. If I could just get away from that sugar. And I do have, I work myself to death to present a solid program on anything I do, on everything I do. But that can also be something that I need to temper. I need to lighten up a bit. I can also overwork myself, which we all know that. And so I need to temper that with some play. Because when we get to that last octave, you're going to have to face the devil. And you're going to have to face the tower. And those are the two worst cards in the deck. So, you think here, okay, there's nothing left to do to me. Well, whenever you heal a wound, the universe will present that wounding to you again. Now, you can say, oh, I see you. I know what you are. I'm not going to go down that way this time. And you tell that bad boy goodbye. Or you go into that wound situation again, but I guarantee you'll get yourself out rather quickly. So whatever your wounding is, whatever your darkness is, the universe will always test that. And that is what's coming through the devil and the tower. By the time you get to that star, you're going to be squeaky clean and purified and exalted. And it's a wonderful feeling. And so really the whole purpose of the spiritual soul is to go through these cards and get to the world where then they are born again. So, if you're anything like me, I go through phases in my life. My first phase was to understand that my mother wasn't right. The second phase was to quit the religion. The next phase was to quit the family. The next phase was to learn how to stand on my own. The next phase was they took my teaching job away. So now what? I'm in a wheelchair. All right. See, I've been through all these cards. God gave me this to do, which I love even better. So this is what I'm saying. I have been tarred and feathered and burnt to a crisp, and I still rise because I now choose to surrender a little quicker than what I used to. So when you get done with the major arcana, you are definitely ascended. So this is an exciting progress. And I know we got a little heavy tonight, but it's necessary in your evolution and your understanding. And you're like, damn, I just thought these cards are going to be able to tell my future. You're gonna make me do all this. For some people, that is all it is. For other people who are willing, other people say, I don't want to be that girl I was 70 years ago. In no way, no how. I'm like a completely different woman. I have a completely different consciousness than I did back then, and I am so grateful. So grateful.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to chew on this octave a little bit. You're going to have to chew on it to understand it. The strength, understand the main thing is courage to stand in that core. The hermit, the courage to stand on your own and give spirit time with you. When that wheel turns, stay in the hub. Observe, don't absorb. Justice, weigh out those decisions. And love is always the answer, no matter what the question. Be willing to hang yourself upside down to get a new perspective and know that it's for your highest good. Be willing to surrender your ego. Be willing to rise again, bigger, better, brighter, more powerful than you've ever been in your life. So that's that second octave in a nutshell. The next week we will review the first two octaves, and I'll add the third. The third one isn't as tough as this one. This octave did take me a while to understand, but I didn't have a teacher like you do. All right, so don't hesitate to ask me any questions. I'm going to send you the spiritual core along with next week's octave somewhere on Friday. Reiki class is Sunday. Anybody, it's not too late to get involved from 11:30 to 5:30, depending on how much you take. So lots of good stuff happening here. Sharon?
Okay. So where do you have your Reiki classes then?
In the basement. I have
Okay.
I have purged and purified. There has been my home has been definitely changed. I've been through all the cards in this house. So I gutted the basement and turned it into what I'm thrilled, a very pretty little classroom.
Is it level 1 that you're just starting, or is it?
It's both level 1 and 2. From
Okay.
11:30 to 3:30 is Reiki 1, 4 until 5:30 is Reiki 2. Anybody's welcome. Payment plans, I would rather you be in class than not to come. So you're like, okay. And if you can't make this class, the next one is September 12th. So master class starts September 27th, which is Usui's birthday. How cool is that? All righty. Any last minute questions? All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording. Everybody have a good week. Remember, spend about 20 minutes on each card. See if you can understand the evolution, what God absorbs or encounters as he goes through each card. Next week, we will begin to do some little layouts. So if you want to, for these two octaves, you can lay out 2 or 3 cards to see what you get and see, remember you're supposed to be keeping a journal and see if you can interpret them. All right, I'm here if you need me. You all have a wonderful week. And I love you and thank you all for those who attended tonight. I appreciate your sweet presence. Maggie, honey, you take care. Miss Jody, good to see you. Nicole, love you, honey. Sharon, it's been so good.
Yeah.
Nicole,
Thanks
love
so
you.
much, Cindy.
Amber, I don't see you. Aaron in New York. Stop it. You know, here, go chase that.
Yeah, that's why I'm muted, because mine do that all day.
Oh, I'm telling you. All right, recording is off. God is blessed. Have a great week. Keep
Thank
well.
Thank you,
you.
Renee.
Bye-bye.
Bye.